Hi, so I'm here today to talk to Lee about how things have been going at the Symbian Foundation for the last month, and particularly overseas in the last week. So, it's been a busy month. How's it going?
Yeah, things are going very well for us at the foundation. One, we're just now getting to the point where you can say that we're working actively for the member community. You're starting to get a real sense of feedback, of dialogue and so forth from our member companies and all the participants we have in our councils, working groups, and online and so forth. But we've accomplished a lot in the last month, so there's some key milestones. One of them is the release of the kernel. We released that on October 21st. We've already had 550 downloads, which is great. So it shows people are very interested in coming in and taking this code. We're moving into open source and doing something, at least tweaking it, looking at it, doing different things with it. Another thing we did, it's a key milestone for us, is that we relaunched our website and our online presence. We did that on October 26th. And what's nice about that is it finally hits the ambition level of where I think we needed to be the whole time, with a hub of our community online, because you have experiences, you have conversations you can have out there, you have devices, you have applications, and then of course all those links to the developer forums and other things that we've been providing in the blog and other things we've been providing. But you have it all in a whole new wrapper, in a whole new online presence. And since we've launched the site, we've already seen that users that are coming to the site day in and day out are spending about 3 times as much of the time as they were before now on the site, because of all that additional information and the things you can do there. Another key milestone, of course, we launched our Horizon publishing program. This is great. I mean, we have the beta of the directory up, and it's slow going, but now we're able to just take submissions in full, and we'll just continue to expand that whole publishing program and the directory and so on that's there. And then what we did, we had our C event as well, the Symbian Exchange and Exposition. It's a very different event than years past when Symbian UK Limited may have been doing things with what they called the smartphone show. And we used it as a live way to have an idea exchange there, and at the same time launched our ideas site at ideas.symbian.org. So yeah, we've been very, very busy, and everything really kind of came together in the last month for us in terms of what I'll call visible signs of the progress we've been making.
Great. So obviously C was quite different to previous years. Was it a success for you? Yeah,
I think it was a huge success for us. Some fast facts and figures here. We had over 2,200 attendees. In years past, the smartphone show, as an example, included well over 700 Symbian limited staff. So we didn't have all of those staff there, so the show looked a little lighter than normal, but more than that, we just had a really good turnout in the well over 2,000 people that did show up to attend. A few other figures there. We had over 700 people at our party, an event. There was a lot of networking going on. It was, people. I've heard nothing but good things about the time that people had at the party to be together as well. We had over 8,000 people listening to the blog posts that were happening, the radio blog posts that were happening live at the event, which I think is really key. And then if you keep going, we also, for the first time there, we had brought companies together that were package owners, individuals that were package owners of the technology in our distribution. But more than that, we brought them together with other member companies. So as a sign of progress, there's now over 170 member companies, 14 now being processed, so we'll continue to grow that well into 180 or so. And a lot of them were there working directly and hands-on with the package owners to go through just the basics of how to collaborate together and how to come together and really evolve the distribution and really solve some of the ecosystem issues that are out there as well. So in these ways, I think the whole event was a great success.
So there were some new features at the Symbian Exchange and Exposition this year. There was bird of a feather sessions and hands-on lab sessions. Did they really work?
Oh, I think they definitely worked. There were a couple of dimensions I noticed to the birds of a feather session that were really good. One, I don't think everybody realizes that they were all volunteer sessions. I mean, these weren't Symbian staff that got up in front of small groups of individuals to collaborate and dialogue and so forth. they were community and ecosystem volunteers. And so in that way, it was great to see people standing up in that mode, taking people through the different sessions. More than that, the more conferences I've gone to over the years, where there's actually, there's a shortage of real collaboration and brainstorming and working together and this type of thing. Our Birds of the Feather sessions really seem to solve that issue here. I walked through personally and saw groups, as an example of 30 individuals gathered around a whiteboard, all brainstorming, vying for time with the dry erase marker, or trying to be heard, trying to just get their voice heard in some kind of dialogue in those sessions. So I think they were highly successful in that way. And the device sessions, were standing room only. Again, people complaining about not being able to get into them, get in through the doorway, so to speak, or not being able to hear adequately because the PA systems weren't, in at least one case, weren't broadcasting loud enough for the size of the crowd that showed up. So in this way, I think it was very successful. Both those types of tracks and sessions at the event were very successful.
That's a very nice complaint to have. So what about sort of some of the technology contributions? We were expecting some announcements or something. What about that? Is there anything from C?
Yeah, I think the big news at C was that we have gone from 1 to 4 major providers in terms of contributions to many more than that. As an example, we have many third-party companies other than Nokia, Docomo, Sony Ericsson, all contributing now. So I think that's really the big news. And some of those contributions are key because one of them, as I highlighted in the roadmap presentation, has to do with a social networking API that if you take an open collection of applications and enable the calendar or the contact book or whatever the notes applications to reach out there through that API and hit Facebook, hit Twitter, hit MySpace, whatever of those social networking sites may be, to hit them directly, I think you've done something really powerful in mobile. And again, I tie that all the way back to that is a contribution from a third party other than Nokia that's coming into the platform, and I think a big deal we're talking about.
That's great. So after the show, there was obviously the announcement the following morning that Fujitsu and Qualcomm Innovation Center had become board members. What does that really mean for Symbian?
Well, it's huge. I don't think you can understate or overstate the significance of that to what we're doing at the board level. At a key moment in time, we have 2 companies that have come in that will end up greatly expanding the options and opportunity in our ecosystem. I mean, that's really what they represent. They come in as funding members, so they'll be contributing directly to the operational expenses of the foundation year over year. That's a key part of the commitment. And then it's no secret when you look at each of the individual companies just how powerful they are in their reach. Fujitsu does much more than mobile phones in Japan and globally. They have an infrastructure business that is really a really strong business for them. They're also in the PC space, in the mainframe space. So if there was ever an opportunity for Symbian to leave the smartphone space, it probably exists with getting board members like Fujitsu on board that can help us expand in some very new ways. Now, Qualcomm, they clearly own one of the, if not the largest intellectual property portfolio in all of mobile. They are also a key player in certain regions where the Symbian products and services haven't been that strong in the past. North America is a good example of that. Parts of Asia are an example of that. So with full support of the Qualcomm chipset, which I think you have to assume comes with the Qualcomm's role at the board level in the business, again, you greatly expand some options for people creating products and services with Symbian.
Great. Thank you very much, Lee. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.